Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're a small to medium-sized business importing goods, you already know that managing supply chains can sometimes feel like, well, like navigating a maze blindfolded, in the dark. But today, we're demystifying a topic that is absolutely critical to your bottom line: securing transparent China to USA shipping quotes. We're going to break down the complexities of commercial cargo logistics so you can finally stop guessing and start actually optimizing your workflow.
I want you to really think about this for a second. Are hidden shipping costs eating your profit margins? Because according to logistics insights from AEB Logistics, this right here is the #1 pain point for SMB importers. You get a quote that looks fantastic up front, right? But by the time your goods actually show up, your profits have just vanished into this black hole of surprise fees, customs delays, and unexpected surcharges. It is incredibly frustrating. But the good news? It's also completely avoidable once you know how the system actually works.
All right, let's dive into this. Here is our agenda for today. First, we'll look at the SMB importer's dilemma. Second, choosing your shipping mode. Third, decoding DDP and Incoterms. Fourth, breaking down shipping quotes. And finally, the AEB Logistics advantage.
Kicking things off with Section 1, the SMB importer's dilemma: navigating hidden fees, CIF risks, and freight scams.
You know, for new importers, the journey of bringing goods from overseas is unfortunately just full of common pitfalls. There are major misunderstandings about who actually bears the risk for the cargo, and sometimes, outright freight scams. In fact, research from AEB Logistics points out that there's a top 10 list of hidden costs specifically tied to CIF shipping terms. CIF stands for cost, insurance, and freight. Now, a lot of suppliers love selling on CIF terms because, hey, it looks really cheap for you up front. But what they don't mention are the 10 different destination charges just waiting to ambush you when the boat arrives. We're talking terminal handling charges, documentation fees, local port fees, things that easily trap import-export businesses and completely wreck their margins.
Moving right along to Section 2, choosing your shipping mode, finding the most cost-effective shipping method.
When you're sitting down to do a basic shipping cost comparison, you're basically pulling two main levers: time and money. On one side, you've got air freight. Think of it kind of like booking a last-minute flight. It offers the absolute fastest transit time, sometimes just a few days for China to USA shipping, but it comes at a massive premium. On the flip side, we have sea freight. This is traditionally where you're going to find the cheapest shipping methods, and it's super cost-effective for large volumes. The catch? It takes much longer. So the key takeaway here is that SMBs really must balance their production timeline against these costs. If you can plan your inventory out well in advance, sea freight is absolutely your best friend.
Now, if you do go with sea freight, you're immediately going to run into two major industry acronyms: FCL and LCL. FCL, or full container load, is exactly what it sounds like. You are renting the entire container. It's incredibly cost-efficient per unit if you've got the volume, and transit speed is generally faster because that container goes straight to you once it hits the port. LCL, on the other hand, less than container load, means you're sharing a container with other businesses. It's awesome for smaller volumes since you aren't paying to ship empty space. But you do take a slight hit on transit speed because that container has to be unpacked and sorted at a destination warehouse before your specific goods are finally released to you.
That brings us to Section 3, decoding DDP and Incoterms, why door-to-door is the safest bet for transparent pricing. Okay, to protect your budget, you really have to understand Incoterms. Basically, these are the international rules that dictate who pays for what and who carries the risk at every single step of the journey. Listen, if there is only one term you take away from this entire explainer, make it DDP, Delivered Duty Paid. Under a DDP shipping agreement, your freight forwarder assumes all the responsibility, all the risk, and all the costs for delivering goods right to your final destination in the US. It's a true, all-inclusive, door-to-door shipping solution. When you get a DDP quote, the customs duties, the taxes, the sea freight, the local trucking, the whole shebang is baked right into one clean number. It is literally a night and day difference between DDP and CIF. With DDP, your costs are predictable, all duties are paid, and the whole process is pretty much entirely hands-off for you. But with CIF, you're staring down those hidden destination charges we talked about, and suddenly you, the buyer, are on the hook for handling complex US import customs and scrambling to find local delivery trucks at the very last minute. So for SMB importers who want to avoid those unexpected margin-eating fees, DDP is vastly superior, no contest.
Let's look at Section 4, breaking down shipping quotes, unpacking the landed cost walkthrough.
Knowing that you want a DDP, door-to-door shipping quote is great, but how do you actually know if the target price you're getting is fair?
Well, you have to know what you're paying for. In a standard landed cost breakdown for China to USA shipping, about 50% of the pie goes directly to the core ocean or air freight costs. That's the actual physical movement across the globe. Then roughly 30% goes to customs duties and HTS, or harmonized tariff schedule taxes. Now this slice can vary wildly depending on exactly how your product is classified, which is exactly why having an expert classify your goods is so vital. The final 20% covers your local U.S. delivery and customs brokerage, so getting it off the ship, cleared by border protection, and trucked to your warehouse. Understanding this breakdown is your secret weapon for negotiating and verifying those international freight rates.
Let's actually physically follow your cargo through the chronological steps of a door-to-door shipment. Step 1. Factory pickup in China. A truck rolls up and grabs your freshly manufactured goods straight from your supplier. Step 2. Chinese port export and departure. Your forwarder handles all that local export documentation and gets it loaded onto the vessel. Step 3. U.S. port arrival and customs brokerage. Your forwarder clears the goods through U.S. customs smoothly, legally, and compliantly. And finally, Step 4. Final door delivery. The goods are routed directly to your doorstep or dropped seamlessly into the Amazon FBA network. When you lay it out like this, you can really see the incredible value of having just a single partner manage all 4 of those steps.
Which leads perfectly into our final section, Section 5, the AEB Logistics Advantage, your trusted partner for international shipping.
Look, executing all those steps seamlessly requires a trusted partner who specializes heavily in the China to USA trade lane. And based on the source material covering the top qualities of leading forwarders, AEB Logistics basically checks every single box for SMBs. They empower their clients with live shipment tracking so you're never left guessing where your cargo is. You get dedicated account managers who basically act as an extension of your own team. They offer expert customs brokerage to prevent those nightmare border delays. They are highly specialized in Amazon FBA routing, meaning they know exactly how Amazon's notoriously strict delivery requirements work. And most importantly, going back to what we've been talking about this whole time, they provide 100% transparent quotes, no hidden CIF fees, just clear, upfront DDP pricing. I really want to highlight this fantastic quote straight from their resources. Stop letting shipping costs from China eat your profit margins. Start shipping smarter today. You guys, this isn't just a catchy marketing tagline. It's a fundamental shift in how you should be looking at your supply chain. You absolutely do not have to be a victim to confusing international freight rates anymore. By understanding your shipping modes, demanding DDP terms, and breaking down your landed costs, you are taking back complete control of your business.
So I'm going to leave you with this final thought. You now have the knowledge to navigate this whole complex landscape. The only question left is, are you ready to optimize your supply chain and get a free, transparent quote from AEB Logistics? Apply what you've learned today, reach out for that transparent quote, and completely transform the way your business imports from China. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and hey, happy shipping!